This is Greg Lanier from Reformed Theological Seminary in Orlando. And I, along with my colleague Will Ross, are delighted to round out the week of your daily dose of Septuagint. And thanks to Rob for giving us a chance to do this. We're going to finish our brief study of the Greek version of Isaiah chapter 6 today by taking a look at verse 8. I'll begin by reading it in Greek. Kai ekousa tes phones kyriou legantos, tina apostelo, kai tis perusatai prostan laan tuton, kaiepa, idu emi ego apostelon me. A translation could go something like this: and I heard the voice or sound of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go to this people? And I said, behold, it is I, or something like I am, send me. Let's make a couple observations about this verse. Let's begin with akusa there, which isn't just a normal aorist first singular, but you'll notice, just like we saw yesterday, that it takes its object in the genitive as opposed to the accusative. And in fact, there's a whole chain of genitives there, but he hears the voice, and whose voice is it? The voice of the Lord. And what is it doing? It is speaking. Next, let's talk about this ton la'an tuton. If you've ever studied this section of Isaiah, you'll note that this phrase, this people, shows up over and over again, and Laos there being used for that. And it's not really being used in a terribly happy way. God is frustrated with his people Israel. La'an is often, your Laos is often used for the people of Israel in the Greek Old Testament, but they are stubborn, they are stiff-necked, and now God is sending Isaiah to go and preach to them, which is what happens in verses 9 and 10 in terms of his specific commissioning. Next, you'll notice what may strike you as a bit odd is apa there. You might have expected apon, borrowing the imperfect endings with a second aorist here of Lego, but often they'll just borrow a regular aorist ending, an alpha ending, and so that's what explains that there. We have a nice little idu, a me, ego there. Behold, it is I, or I'm the one who is standing right here in front of you, and then send me. Lastly, let's point out this double use of perfective or aorist verbs for apostello. The first one being a subjunctive, and God saying, like, who shall I do? Who shall I send? And then Isaiah saying, send me, an imperative towards God saying, yes, send me. It's quite appropriate that the translator here would use an aorist or a perfective verb here, because it's describing in some sense holistically what Isaiah is being charged to go do. It will define sort of the entirety of his calling, not just sort of showing it as a process of sending him out, but it's going to really define who he is. And so the perfectivity there really captures that for the prophet very well. Thank you all for tuning in for the Daily Dose of Septuagint. Take care.